This is your daily market recap for Wednesday, May 17th, 2023. Let's go. Hey everyone, this is my channel to help investors and traders develop a probability-based mindset to succeed. Also try and keep friends informed of what's going on in the markets and the economy, and also a little real estate content as well. This is Dan Max at eXp Realty, aka The Trading Agent. This is your daily market review for Wednesday, May 17th, 2023. Sorry again about no recap yesterday. Had some issues dealing with the family, all sorts of things going on. Again, I apologize. If you have any questions, again, always reach out if you're ever concerned. And let's get into it. So as of today, based on what we're seeing, again, it seems like the economic data is weakening. The market seems to be hoping that a budget will get passed. As we've always talked about, it's just a matter of when they kick the can down the road or they do something. And if not, then it has downside. At this point, a lot of people are talking about the market, getting a lot of people who are frustrated or trolls who are like, oh, the market's going higher and doing this. And it's like, well, look at the IWM, it's lower. SPY is up 1% in the last month, and the Qs have been leading. So it's kind of a mixed bag because, again, you've got metals doing certain things. You got certain companies doing certain things. I mean, like you said, saw Home Depot yesterday and the retail sales, like absolutely terrible, in my opinion. Again, I don't usually accentuate things, but I thought those numbers were bad. Their forecast was bad. Retail sales struggling because people are struggling with what? Inflation as it trenches in. On that note, it just, again, remember, it is OPEX. It is OPEX, CHOPEX. It's meant to do what? Play with your emotions, get you to think the market's going higher. Typically, that's when tops and bottoms occur. Just keep an eye on it. Be careful. Again, define your risk, have stops, trade around your positions. Here to help if you have any questions. Twitter is where we're dropping all the important knowledge. As most people know, there's a lot of stuff going on. Much needed to pay attention to, news of all sorts. Again, Home Depot news, all this stuff. It's just, it's not good. It's not good, but doesn't necessarily mean the market can't be irrational. Again, check out my Twitter account. Please follow, like, subscribe. Especially for YouTube, hit the notification bell. You're going to get the notifications of when we do live streams and drop these videos. And also, if you're looking to learn, the Back to Basics series is on YouTube, but I also have it on my website, thetradingagent.com. For more beginner to advanced information. On that note, let's get into Fed Watch tool. 76% odds of what? A pause, 25 of a raise. At this point, there's no cutting, nothing like that. So people who say, oh, the Feds are going to start cutting rates, no, not pricing in. Bitcoin, talked about. This is an issue. This could be a head and shoulders top. Be aware. I don't like this formation if I was bullish, but we've seen it before where it kind of plays out, goes lower, then comes back. I would probably be watching the 27 to 28,000 range just to see how it acts. Oil, not surprised, rallying. I'm talking about refilling the SPR, as I've said a billion times. I think oil has a higher downside in this recession than previously. A lot of people might argue differently. I think it's very simple. Supply-demand issues. OPEC will cut more supply, in my opinion. You will have what? I think higher lows, not negative futures prices like we had in oil once. Nat gas, it's the same broken record. Not surprised it bounced on the zero hedge headline that natural gas is dead. I personally think, again, it's just going to be in a tight trading range until it resolves. And when it resolves, again, I don't know. I mean, I personally have ideas. I think it's more when the Fed's cut, but at this rate, not so much. The dollar. Are you surprised it rallied? We've talked about the bottoming, higher lows, chopping. Well, here you go. You get up towards like an old trend line, backs off. Volume is light. I still think the dollar is going higher, things that are going to be hard for the market to digest. Bonds, as we talked about, trading in a tight range. Now we're trying to, we filled the gap yesterday and chopping around. Higher rates, good or bad for the market? I don't know. As I said 1,000 times though, volatility in bonds and dollars is more important at this point than the prices, because I think if you see big volatility in bonds and dollars, it means it's coming in the market. Speaking of volatility, the VIX retesting range lows and during OPEX, anyone surprised? Choppy, sloppy. Rather frustrating for the average person who's trying to get rich quick, right? Like if you're a patient trading around your positions, you're managing, but that's the thing about the market. It does not do something you always expect all the time. That's the hard part here. Get out of your mind that like the market is like somehow predictable all the time. Remember, it's a probability-based game and you're trying to do the best you can. And there's going to be times where the market is choppy, just the nature of the beast. It's been very choppy for months. The VIX, we said, has to break out of this 100 area. It seems not to be, but it is showing you, the VIX of the VIX is showing higher volatility of the volatility index. And at this point, we'll see what happens here. That feels like a divergence that will lead to higher prices in the VIX. SPY. Again, people talking like, oh, market's up huge, it's up. No. It's been trading in a range low, range high. Look where it failed. Again, I know it filled the gap. Keep an eye on it, because I think, again, you're at the 20-month, all these things. Like, it's not obvious, but people just they caught on the headline action. They go, oh, the market's going higher. AI is going to help margins for companies. And it's like, yeah, and everyone's going to get laid off. Posted this in the Discord room. No gap left behind. There it is. QQQ, gap fill. Did we predict that? No. Again, I'm not going to sit here and play. Saw that coming, but that's part of that's the thing. Sometimes that happens. You just got to be aware that it can. IWM, talked about it lagging, right? It should be much higher. Okay, chopping around, holding. And again, you would think the IWM, which leads, is up at 200. No, it's in the 170s. Now it's over the 50-day. Can it be a one-day thing? Is the volume high? Again, if you go look at the 10-minute, you're like, oh, that volume looks high. Saw this a lot. At the close, someone absolutely distributed. Okay, you're seeing that. And again, go check the 10 minutes on all these. I can't do every chart, but I'm seeing that. Saw distribution again at the end of the day, like you saw yesterday. DIA, again, lagging. You would think the Dow components, again, would be much stronger up in the 340s. No. Gold, get a lot of flack every day. Like, hey, I think you should take profits. You should be careful. All right, well, now we're back at a next support level. It looks like a double top. And again, I'm telling you, I think the best time to buy gold will be when the Fed is about to pivot. We're not there yet. And the seasonality sucks. A lot of people arguing that some random Joe Rogan fellow who's just getting frustrated. I'm like, I just don't think gold's going higher, bud. I mean, I don't know how to say it other than I think it had a nice run. Think about the rubber band man theory. The bigger the run, it gets more tired, it's getting more tired, it's getting more tired, and now it rolls over. Under the 50-day, brings you back down quickly to support probably somewhere in this like 179, 100-day area. And then after that, I mean, who knows where we'll get to, but I don't think it's worth even thinking about buying unless you're going to trade it. Silver, same thing. It's been predicting this. Looks ugly. Again, if people love to like hammer and say like, oh, you're not predicting things all the time. Again, probability game, I can't be right all the time, but there's certain things that I have been good at, and that's metals, certain things in the market. We'll keep an eye on it. GDX told us it was not acting well. Like we said, once it broke 33s, you got problems. You have double top. GDXJ, same thing. Again, junior miners lead the big miners, right? Well, look at this. Not looking so good. AG, as we've talked about, like you would think this thing would be up at $8 or $9. No, it looks like crapola. AEM looks like a bull trap at the highs, right? I can't tell you for sure that it was, but I was like pretty confident. Like, look at this. You chop over the range and you give it all right back. That looked like a distributive day at the highs. And again, if you go look at the 10 minutes, sometimes you'll see that near the highs and the lows in a stock. Like high volume at the highs, high volume at the low can be pointing to inflection points. Newmont, another leader that should be up in the 50s. It's not even close to the January highs. But again, it's crazy to me how people get mad about it. I'm just pointing out the obvious. Pass on. Again, double top. Look at that. Backing off, hitting old trend lines. Good old tech. All right, AMD, as we talked about to the upside, if it was going to do anything, 103 area is very important. Very, 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 very important. Very, 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 very important. And if you shorted yesterday, well, you're a little early. If you shorted today, you might be right. Again, could it go higher? I don't know. A lot of people are chasing this action. My alarms went off today, didn't do anything. Again, I'm just kind of in a wait and see mood. Micron, chopping, right? We talked about what? Hitting this upper area. I mean, again, you go look at the weekly, there's resistance 64, 65. Will it go? Taiwan Semi, again, big rally today. Not sure why. Gaps up, but look at this. I mean, this is why if you're trading around your positions, you're booking some profits through the frustrating times. Do we really break out over the low 90s? That's just keep it on. It probably is more of a short. NVIDIA closes up in the 300s. Congratulations, they got it up there. It's adding market cap of a year's revenue every day. This feels disingenuous, but it is what it is. It's going higher. I don't think, again, I like the NVDS for the long term, but you got to pick and choose your battles. And in my opinion, I would rather be shorting up here than not. Because I think, again, as I've said, through OPEX, CHOPEX, things play out. You can get caught watching and waiting for the best entry versus what is the best entry. Like, look at Intel lagging 100-day. This looks like absolute garbage. Garbaggio. Is that an actual thing? Is that Carpaccio? Garbaggio? SMH. Again, trolls coming out at the 130 level, and it's like, all right, guys. You think I don't know what to say other than, yeah, I mean, it's up back at the highs, but is it like bullish? I mean, again, it's tough to know. I mean, you're filling gaps here. Just keep an eye on it. Don't get caught watching and thinking OPEX is just going to break out. Just please be careful. Don't sit there and just have a head up your butthole. Here you go. M top. We talked about Adobe lagging. Apple should be leading. Is it? Is it? Is it? No, it doesn't really look like it. It's chopping out. This feels like a novice gap trap, but look how long it takes. Sometimes that's the problem. Amazon. Again, pick and choose your names well. This one, could it fill the gap up here? 119? I don't know. These names have been holding up pretty well. So again, pick and choose your battles. CRM, we talked about the 200 level. Looks like it's going higher. Now, again, this action is on lighter volume. Keep an eye on for higher volume. Check the 10-minute. Let's see real quick at the close. Yeah, big volume. We'll see if it holds up. I mean, so much of this, like in these names. Guggenheim, again, supposedly they're taking over ChatGPT. Like the headline at the highs is rather scary. We talked about no gap left behind. Trading ranges, just come on. You got to be careful. You got to be careful here. And if you have to stop out, it's okay. It's part of the game. Meta, playing games up here. Not surprised if the market holds up, Qs hold up. Does it need a double top? I don't know. Again, zoom out. You go, okay, this thing just playing a game, in my opinion. It's at this point where could it touch the gap? I don't know. Don't know. Be careful. Be thoughtful. Microsoft, fill the gap, 312, chopping at the highs. Again, amplitude, it's just getting really sloppy, choppy. NDAQ, we talked about why the NASDAQ composite exchange is garbage in the future. Like people are not going to be trading NASDAQ stocks like tech stocks like they used to. People don't understand that. The stock always demonstrates it. MicroStrategy, Bitcoin's holding 27,000. Not surprised it's bouncing. It's a good trading referendum. Not trading. It's a good trading stock for Bitcoin. That's how I look at it. Netflix hits the 340s, backs off, chopping again. If the market's not rolling over, it's not rolling over. Keep it simple. And Roblox, which has been all over the place. Okay, watch this gap area. 41s. We talked about it. Like they guided down, stopped giving guidance. You rally back. I mean, that's the thing about the market. Choppy, sloppy, choppy, sloppy. You see, like there's a little bit of a thesis going on here of how that works. Just be careful, okay? Tesla, same thing. Choppy, sloppy. I mean, people are just excited about the stock always. It's like, man, that's not how you bottom. You bottom when everyone hates it. Are we there yet? I don't know. Materials, oversold. Not surprised they bounced a little bit. We talked about there's going to be rotation around. ChopX. These things get blasted, not showing economic growth. They back off. They bounce a little oversold. Nucor looks very much similar. Hits this range, bounces. Caterpillar said this yesterday, like look for higher prices if you really want to short. You know, what's the best ideal price? Gonna have to watch the market, probably somewhere in this 220 range, but you never know. You gotta that's where you can't watch all stocks all the time. Set your alarms, pay attention, see what happens. VALE, chop, chop. All right, here you go. 20-day, we'll see. Keep an eye on it. Don't know. Arrow, we talked about this one. Again, VALE, I mean, we do know. It's been acting like crap, but it's, again, is it due to bounce? Potentially. Arrow, been holding up better than others. Bouncing, not surprised. Again, I personally think it's still going to go lower at some point, especially with the copper names, but whatever. CCJ, as we've said, this range is basically impenetrable at 29, 30. I don't think it's going anywhere but lower in time because when they sell off the market, I think materials will get blasted. CF, same kind of thing. Talked about, you could buy the dip there because of the volume, but don't be surprised if it chops around, retests. A lot of people hopefully traded around it. That's just all you can do. Mosaic, same thing. It just doesn't really look that great. Wait for lower prices or just let it base out. Like, don't feel like you have to get into anything like for the long term, long, in my opinion. NTR, we talked about again, high volume bottom, bounce. Don't be surprised if it comes back down, goes a little lower later in time. It just is what it is. AA, we've talked about the 35 level. Not surprised it bounced at the 20-day. Again, this is all just very frustrating trading. If you're going long this stuff, I wish you luck. XLF bounces. Not surprised. Again, excuse my language, hate ChopX. Right back to the short entry. Keep an eye on it. JP Morgan, are you surprised if it goes up to 32.50 on the XLF, this bounces? You're back at a range high. Again, could it get back to 141s? That's always possible, y'all. That's the problem. Morgan Stanley, which has been lagging a ton. Off the lows. Not surprised. Again, got to be careful shorting things at the lows. Goldman Sachs. Bouncing. Again, I think all these names are just going to be gamey. Very gamey. KRA, been absolutely blasted. As we talked about, is it overdue to bounce? Good. It could. It did. 20-day. Here you go. Just keep an eye. Could it get a little over the 20-day? Maybe get into the 40 range. Not that far off. Don't be surprised if a wick formed there. XBI. We talked about this one. Popping. Flopping. Chopping. Now, again, if the market doesn't sell off, does this stuff have to follow? Not necessarily. It can just chop around and hold up. I mean, it's going to do what it's going to do. Good old solar. Let's get into it. We talked about shorting solar on these monster pops. So far, so good. Chopping around. TAN, ENPH. This is the one I warned folks. Please do not short this one at the lows. Give it some room to pop. Sedge, we talked about this one. 310, whatever, plus 309. Like, here you go. Seems to be working. First solar. A lot of people were like, you're crazy. You can't short up here. Channel high, novice gap trap. Bought a company worth $35 million. I don't know how that's going to affect their bottom line when it's trading at 600 times future earnings. Keep an eye on it, right? It could bounce at certain levels. Just, again, be thoughtful. HYG, corporate debt. This is why I'm concerned about the market. Like, look at this. This is not bullish. Corporate debt needs to hold up. This is corporate junk debt. It's not. Let's end it with oil and gas. Again, not surprised. Like, their headline, like, oh, we got to refill the SPR. Oil gets a little bounce. Nat gas, UNG, I said over and over, please don't buy this until the reverse splits. If it does bounce, trade around it. XOP, holding the teens, the one teens, chopping, nothing too crazy, nothing too exciting. Again, it broke below its channel. Now it's just basing at support. ExxonMobil, we talked about this one being an epic short at 115 to 117. Breaks below the 200-day. Now it's chopping. Again, don't be surprised if it bounces a little bit. That's why you trade around your position. Unless the market peels like an onion, that stuff's going to hold up, potentially. Occidental, chopping, same kind of thing. Held support. PXD, held support in the low 200, right? So far, just chopping around. Nothing really to say. EQT had a nice bounce yesterday. No follow through. Range highs, an old VAP zone. And Flex LNG, we talked about this. Came out earnings. I thought they were okay. I like this company. Give it some space. Not surprised if it does bounce a little bit. I mean, it's a little bit of a trading range. It'll probably trade in the 10 to 15% range, but I like this in time if we're going to be a big natural gas exporter. All right. If you have any questions, again, please reach out. I appreciate everyone's understanding. Going through a lot of stuff personally. Markets are hard for me to focus on right now. Unfortunately, it just is what it is. That's going to happen in your life. There's going to be times where you just can't do anything. And when I say you can't do anything, you just got to be around. You got to do what the market's going to do. Be aware of the Stock Traders Almanac. The next 2 days coming up both have bears on them. Expiration, May expiration has been down 15 out of the last 22. It could happen. So if you have any questions, reach out. I appreciate all the love, support, generous donations. Keep making money. Do the best you can do. This is not easy. Talk to you later. Hey, thanks for watching. If you have any questions, stop by the Discord room. A link is in the description below. Also, if you'd like to help support more free content, your PayPal link is in the description as well. I appreciate your continued support of the channel.